Okay, so this video was recommended to me by a viewer. It seems really interesting. It's called Why Does Everyone Simp for Guild Wars 2? Now, this is from 2 years ago, but I guess it doesn't really matter, so let's see how it holds up.
I would absolutely, any day, tell people to go
Josh
and play
Strife,
Guild Wars.
hey!
Guild Wars 2, in my opinion, still does the best job of delivering story when it comes to MMORPGs.
Oh wait, I saw that. I saw that.
This MMO is definitely worth the money.
Narc.
Guild
Oh
Wars 2.
my
Guild Wars 2.
God.
Guild Wars 2.
Guild
Dude,
Wars 2.
that's crazy. Guys, do you remember Narc? Isn't it ironic that when the moment we need him the most, he just vanished? Like, this is the perfect time to prove he was right all along, and he's not here. That is such a damn shame. Right now, when we see Ashes of Creation just completely scamming everyone, like, this guy was right all along. It's crazy.
Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars 2.
Hey!
Oh, really? We'll see about that. Guild Wars 2, a game I've never touched before despite it being 11 years old. And not touching 11-year-olds is really strange behavior for a YouTuber in 2023. Now,
Also in 2025.
once upon a time I
Not
did
much
play a
has changed.
dervish in a completely unrelated game with certainly no lore or story significance to this one called Guild Wars. But that was way back when we could call a Hurricane Katrina and no one wanted to have sex with it. 2005.
The good old days.
The good old days.
Oh.
But we're not here to reminisce over an age when the timeline wasn't irreversibly shattered by turning a gorilla into Swiss cheese, all
man,
because a
Harambe.
child wanted free water skiing lessons. See, I'm here to
damn.
entertain you, and you're here to get
The
the
pain.
Wish.com version of brain damage. And maybe if we're both lucky, I'll be able to offer to you an opposing viewpoint to all those
Oh,
boomers
man,
who
oh,
keep
there he
sucking
is.
themselves off over how good Guild Wars 2 is. So let's waste no more words and see how disappointing Guild Wars 2 is about to be.
Okay, that's crazy. Already thank you so much for the guy who recommended me this video. This is great. I did not expect the Guild Wars 2 community to have like a meme lord. This is fantastic. I did not expect that at all.
Let's start off simple.
I guess
and
every
pick
community
that
has
one
one.
objectively superior character race. And we might as well pick our class or profession too while we're at it. Right off the bat, Guild Wars 2 gets pretentious on us. Ooh, I'm so fancy because I've got an animal race that doesn't look like each and every other furry race out there. I get the impression that when
Crazy,
first
huh?
creating the char in Guild Wars 1,
Hey, well, I guess World of Warcraft does have that too, right? I mean, Taurens are kind of cool. I always thought Taurens were cool. Like, I don't know about you guys. Maybe you think otherwise. But nah, I think they're pretty dope.
someone on the design team one day looked over at their house cat and realized that it doesn't in fact have a gigantic pair of unwieldy bolt-on tits, thus dooming the Guild Wars 2 team to keep the design for the sake of continuity and banishing the furry menace back into other unnamed games out there. And yeah, that's great, but so what? I can name
Do it.
two other MMOs out there that don't have furries in them.
Say
I
the
think.
name.
I mean, just look at this game. It's already acting like it's better than everyone else out there. Next, you're gonna tell me that the people who play this game shower regularly. Look, let's get down to brass
no.
tacks. I'm
That's
here to
taking
have
it
a
too far.
bad time and dunk on all those Guild Wars 2 simps, okay? Not many, but the most hardcore of MMO players will realize this. But there's a delicate balance of
Dude, that's like the average WoW Mythic Raider.
salted misery to be maintained within this genre. And if we're gonna figure out how to be miserable, there's only really one place to start this journey. Reddit. And within this cesspool of circle-jerking mod incels, we got no help. Big surprise. But I did stumble across this useful little link right
Oh man, that's Filthy Frank in the background, man. I miss Joji so damn much. It's crazy, man. I'm getting so much nostalgia from this video. And it's not even from that long ago.
here. And a little later, upon returning to my post, we found a surprising
man,
number of people.
Like, old YouTube used to be so good, man. I mean, now it's just filled with brain rot and all that stuff. Ah, man, I'm so tired. I just miss old YouTube. You know what? I'm old. What can you do, guys? It is what it is.
People with a brain
said it.
who
I said the
typed
thing.
something worth reading. These posts right here have me pretty concerned, actually. You see, they may not look like much, but this kind of positive behavior is disruptive to the natural ecosystem of MMO-related Reddit. But moving on to that link I found. We've got two choices here. We can pick our character through player choice or by player time. Playtime probably means that people are having a worse experience with the game.
That's interesting. Wait, you actually have stats for this? Oh, this is actually quite interesting. It's nice to see all of them are pretty even. There's not too much disparity as far as it seems. So that's very interesting.
Than just not liking the way something looks. So let's go with that. So now in no uncertain terms, we know we'll be playing the
Revenant
cat wizard that
Wait,
escaped
what
the
was it?
Harry Potter race war. So on to the
that was a
character
good game.
creator.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Let's see. Mesmer,
I love that
illusions, finesse, misdirection. All the appropriate skills to craft the perfect YouTube apology after entering a Japanese forest. While we design Simba's disabled
Certain
little
forests,
brother,
too.
you may notice some real chunky polygons sticking out here and there. But a fair portion of this is covered up decently by the amount of options and sliders we've got available. And on top of those sliders, we've got some presets. We can even change the background lighting in case God didn't like you having a working pair of eyes. And there's even a slider so we can decide if we're going to be short or recognized as a person by society at large. All of this is shockingly well put together, but this isn't gameplay, so let's speedrun this a bit. Alright. There we go. Completely indistinguishable from your average char. Now then, let's get in game. What?
Come on,
Lol.
man.
Backstory. What the fuck is all this? Hold on. Now this is pure speculation on my
Immersion?
part.
What?
But I get the feeling they're
my
trying to turn our
MMORPG?
character into a person. I thought I was supposed to be playing main character generic hero man number
Absolutely.
6,000,000,001. Alright,
To be fair, you kind of do that too with Guild Wars 2. You know, I have to say it, right? You're kind of the hero, and technically you are writing your own story, but come on, guys. I've done enough of the story by this point to pretty much assess where this one's going.
fine. I'll admit, the character creator is good
On my old character, by the way, which was like a Norn warrior, not on the new one, obviously. I'm still in the beginning, pretty much.
enough that it's got me wondering why this isn't industry standard for every other MMO out there. God, and this game is a
Because other MMO sucks balls, and everything just sucks. Nobody's willing to put an effort anymore, and everyone is just cringe. Yes, this is today MMO sphere. Enjoy. To be honest, this was made 2 years ago, so he probably doesn't even know about Ashes of Creation, because apparently this guy has stopped uploading videos, which actually makes me quite sad now that I've been, like, 5 minutes into his video. Yeah, that's pretty shameful. I mean, I really wish this guy would make some more content. His video seems fire.
11 years old and we still haven't evolved? You know what, don't worry about it. I'm sure with my choice of the least played race profession combo that we're about to have a bad time in the starting area. So welcome to
True.
Smokestead. Turns out that the cat kind
Wait, isn't it new? Isn't this the newest class? I'm pretty sure it is. Because I remember Revenant to be added into the game. People have told me that.
Chimera people beat
I
the
might be wrong,
snot
though.
out of the previous owners of this land so bad that they all became eternally butt-mad blue checkmark Twitter ghosts. Jesus, and this is the least played starting area. Now, before we continue with our journey, I feel it's important for me to give you some backstory of this game before things get confusing. The premise of Guild Wars 2 is that we're playing as a cat monkey man in a game developed by the Children of Satan, who in unison with a group of money-hungry lizard men published this game, proving that sometimes math isn't bullshit and two negatives can sometimes produce something positive. This game is all about adventuring your way through a single-player game with other people that bother you every now and then. In the world of Tyra
Based Gotcha. What a name you looked at.
Turning your way through a single-player game with other people that bother you.
Dude, that is such a fantastic name. I wish I took it upon myself. Oh, it's so good. I've seen some people with some really good names out there for sure.
Every now and then. In the world of Tyra Banks, who's got a pretty severe collection
Kyria.
of bad dragons laying around. Strange occurrences
Jesus.
happen in this MMO that don't happen in others. Like your backstory choices having mild consequences as opposed to none at all, and your character developing somewhat of a personality. In the long run of the Guild Wars 2 story, we're here to inflict unwanted diversity upon the world like our name is Netflix, and transport some uppity gecko with a bad habit of
Oh, man, I
organizing a
remember that.
domestic terrorism or two into the
Zayden,
afterlife.
right?
And
Is
I'm
that
gonna
the
stop
guy?
there because this is
I
a
might be
first
wrong about
impression,
this.
and that's just the base game. And if you want the rest of the story, you might as well go get a PhD in quantum theoretical fucking physics, because that would be far more straightforward than understanding anything beyond each expansion featuring some version of Big Lizard Mad Now. Except for Living World 3, where
Yeah, I did notice that. Like, they have a thing with dragons, right? I mean, they're so, like, ubiquitous, right? You can find them everywhere. It's kind of crazy. They do love their dragons, for sure. But you know what? I'm all here for it.
One of the human gods becomes the living embodiment of China and decides that everything is edible through his personalized Slurpee straw. But none of that really matters right now because I'm a giant bipedal cat magician surrounded by unarmed but suspiciously blue protesters in need of some excessive force. So after proving to our superiors that no one is above the law except us, we even get some ringside seats to desecrating the graves of the indigenous. In particular, one of their leaders who really wanted to be a Power Ranger before he died and revived himself into an oversized Funko Pop. Now looking at this world lore-wise, everything tends to fit together very neatly. We've been told from the start that the Cha are brutal and warlike, and we, as a character in this game, get to be a part of that tradition. There's only really one problem. I, as a player in this game, don't really take any of these schizophrenic apparitions seriously at all. I mean, look at this. This guy's been beating me up for the last half an hour, and my health bar's barely moved. At no point in this game so far am I in any serious danger, and I'm not really being forced to learn how vital any of my specific abilities are. But
that is actually true. This is so facts. I mean, you don't have any real danger in Guild Wars 2. You don't really die, at least when you start, right? I guess when you reach the difficult content and like the end game stuff, like the true end game stuff, yeah, stuff do get hectic, but as you begin the game, nothing's pose any sort of danger to you, which if you compare to classic World of Warcraft is the exact opposite, right? When you reach the end game, you're not about to die because you're already too powerful, but in the early game, man, even killing one unit is a hassle. Like, it's gonna take some blood, sweat, and tears out of you for sure.
But moving on, after defeating the last statue of Stalin in an admittedly epic battle, we are ready to leave tutorial warzone into tutorial starting area, which is the same place just with less ghosts and not instanced. So welcome to Smokestead. The transition here is a little bit odd. We've now gone from battle-hardened soldier to pest control handyman who's here to autocorrect a few sentient rats out of existence and learn a little bit more about the world around us. And look, as much as I want to be negative about Guild Wars 2, I can't say I hate this experience. We get a few more abilities, learn some important skills like how to dodge.
It's way more fun. Oh, dude.
And learn.
Yeah, he just bombarded himself. It happened to me too, Chief. But yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, the questless nature of Guild Wars 2, which is not really without quest. You just don't take them yourself. You just kind of go into the environment in certain zone and just do the thing you're supposed to be doing to help the people. Like, this is a great idea. I love that. I love the fact you don't have any quest markers. You just literally go to a certain zone and you just help the people. It really makes you feel immersed inside of the world of Tyria. This is actually a fantastic design decision, and currently, as I'm like going through the motions and experiencing the game again from scratch, I'm having a blast. It is really enjoyable to me. Oh, I'm back. Sorry for that, guys. I had to go there for a second to blow my nose. I have such a nasty cold.
Learn to develop a case of epilepsy from all the spell effects happening around us. Come to think of it, that's one of the problems with this game. You see, combat is interesting. More on that in a second.
True.
But there's just so much visual clutter that it's difficult to...
Swap the weapon.
Oh my god, the abilities change when you switch weapons. And not just that, every profession wields the same weapon in a completely different way, which just adds to the fantasy of the game.
But it also completely breaks class identity. And I know you guys have told me that you don't care about that and you feel like everyone should do anything and this is fine with you. It's not fine with me and it will never be. This is just me. You know what? This is just how I operate. I love it when a class is limited. I'm a true D&D enjoyer, and classes need to have strengths and weaknesses. Whenever a class does everything, it's just not good in my opinion. And like, I'm sorry. I know you guys have told me you should look at Guardian as sort of a magical armor type of dude. But yeah, why does he blink? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, right? He can use magics, sure, but he blinks? It's kind of weird. I don't think this should be the case, but, you know, that's just me. That's how I view combat, and it is what it is. My opinion on this is never going to change, but I can completely see, like, agree and see why you guys love this system so much. It's just, I just don't think it's that optimal, but that's just my opinion.
With the Guardian profession, will pick up a two-handed sword and identify it as a manually operated wood chipper. But a Mesmer will pick up the same sword and instead see a long metal wand made for ranged combat.
And again, it's really weird. It is really, really weird. It's kind of like the sword is just there for, you know, optics, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't really make any sense.
can't believe that shit worked. Now, I've never in my life thought of a sword as a ranged weapon, but Guild Wars 2 made that possible, and I can appreciate.
And there's a reason. Like, there is a reason. It's just not good. It's not, I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I know you're gonna hate me for saying that. It's weird, okay? It doesn't connect in my brain. How can a sword be ranged weapon in this manner? You can do some cool stuff like summoning spirit weapons and stuff. I think that's pretty dope, and it kind of makes sense. But just zapping through the sword, come on. Like, it is kind of off to me.
That. As I played my way through the starting area, though, certain unavoidable realities about the combat began to dawn on me. As I've hinted at, magic effects in this game are so bright I feel like I'm staring into the fucking sun sometimes. But that's about the worst I have to say about it. Guild Wars 2 has somehow made a hybrid tab targeting system that feels immersive and smooth to play, even in 2023. Part of this likely has to do with the fact that if I've positioned myself wrong and use an ability, my character doesn't tell me, can't do that. But instead, it's more of a sure. I don't mind flailing the sword around in the Walmart parking lot, but it's also more than that. Almost every single combat factor feels important. Your timing, your positioning, how you choose to approach a fight depending on your profession, all of it matters, except what ability you decide to press, at least at the lower levels. Now, I'm sure...
Mesmer looks cool, man. My decision was either Guardian or Mesmer, and I went for Guardian because I love tankiness. But damn, Mesmer looks fine. Maybe it will be my ult. But you know what? For now, let's focus on the Guardian.
Endgame, that statement is likely to not hold true. But right here, right now, it honestly doesn't feel like it matters what button I press because my character is a walking god of death. Everything I touch just dies. And for someone who's never played MMOs before and picked up Guild Wars 2, that's the thing that's likely to take them out of the experience the most. There's no initial challenge, but other than that, there's plenty of weapons to experiment with, a not overwhelming amount of buttons to push, and all of what you're doing feels well tied to the fantasy of Tony the Tiger's albino brother looking for his lost dad. While we go through all these little quests that build up the world a little bit, we finally come of age at level 10, and are given permission to leave the opium fields to pursue our own personal jihad. We enter into a city that gives off first-person Kenshi vibes. More importantly, we're given our first mount. Huh. Now that was underwhelming. No questline, no story integration. Just congrats on level 10. Here's a fucking dinosaur. Now, I don't know about you.
Because it wasn't implemented inside of the game when it was launched, right? It was something that came in a later expansion, and they kind of just integrated inside of the starting leveling experience. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure mounts wasn't part of the base game. I'm 99% sure.
But back in...
They came with Path of Fire, right? And Glide came with Heart of Thorns. And from what I've heard, right? I'm not a Guild Wars 2 player. Again, like, I play World of Warcraft. But I'm pretty sure I'm right about this.
My day, playing WoW, when everyone thought that you could fix the Paladin nuke sword by fishing. When you got your first mount, it felt... Everyone thought that you could fix the Paladin nuke sword by fishing. When you got your first mount...
Oh man, it was supposed to be such a legendary questline, and Blizzard, I don't know if they forgot about that or they planned it for, I don't know, something more grandiose, but no, it just ended up being nothing. Like, the Corrupted Ashbringer questline should have been so goddamn good, where you purify it, and you should have gone to the, well, you know, the Burning Crusade expansion, right, to all of the starting zone. Hellfire Peninsula and stuff. Man, it's crazy. They said the Outlands, if I remember correctly. It was supposed to be so good. If you haven't done this quest, just look it up on YouTube. It is amazing. You get this legendary weapon called Corrupted Ashbringer, and you take it to a certain, not raid, dungeon called the Scarlet Monastery, sorry. And wow, everyone, instead of being hostile towards you, they just kneel before you. It's incredible. I love this interaction. We have nothing similar to this in MMOs. Like, nobody did anything like that, as far as I'm aware of.
It felt amazing. You had to grind for hours to make enough money to afford that bastard, because it's likely you wasted all your money on repair bills from exploration-related debts or doing something else stupid in-game. And you had to walk to your computer desk uphill, barefoot, in the snow, while it was raining fire, all while your dad chased after you with a belt. But here in Guild Wars 2, it's just kinda...
Nope.
And then that all changed when I pressed the W key.
I love this meme. Everything changes. By the way, this meme, I'm sorry. By the way, I'm usually against getting mounts this early, but I think that in Guild Wars 2, it actually kind of works. And I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because I have criticized games for giving you mounts too early. I still think that it is bad, but I mean, in Guild Wars 2, it just kind of works since the nature of the game is horizontal instead of vertical. So it doesn't really matter when you get your mounts because everything is gonna stay the same anyway, right? There is no real power scaling and progression. Well, there is to a certain degree, but not as like vertical MMOs, right? When they actually rely on that. Where, sorry, not when.
About the net.
Yebity yep. It's so good. It is so good.
I take back what I said. This iguana feels pretty good. This mount doesn't just have one singular speed, it accelerates from a stationary position. It has a turn radius. It even has abilities. And as much as WoW bit off of Guild Wars 2 for the Dragonflight mount system, it still feels like they've done a better job in the original, and we're still—
No, they actually screwed this up too. It's crazy, huh? Blizzard can't even copy their homework right, which is absolutely insane thing to say, but it's true.
Currently only level 10. God damn it, Guild Wars 2. Why can't you just let me hate you like an MMO player normally hates everything they play? Haven't you taken enough from me? Alright, fine. I'll admit that the hybrid tab targeting system feels good and immersive to play with. I'll begrudgingly accept that this little ability bar isn't overcomplicated or oversimplified, all while
No, it's not overcomplicated at all. The problem is you're getting your abilities way too fast, and also you have weapon switching, which essentially gives you like 4 more abilities to play with, and it kind of happens really, really fast, but it's just the nature of Guild Wars 2. You get used to it someday, like well, why the hell did I sound like that? Someday you actually get used to that, but I can understand why people are confused. You are getting the abilities a bit too fast.
it keeps the character's class abilities in line with the in-game lore. But do they really have to make things straightforward enough that some new player who's never played an MMO before can stumble into this game and enjoy themselves? And that they could probably do this without looking up a single guide online. Won't you consider the suffering this causes a veteran player like me? How am I, as a salty old player, supposed to gatekeep this experience when even the A and D keys are bound to strafing instead of keyboard turning by default? How am I supposed... Oh, thank God, something to bitch about. There's an in-game store. This game is pay to win. Absolutely disgusting. I have never in my life seen a cash shop so...
crazy.
So...
oh no.
mediocre? God damn it, who am I kidding? There's much worse out there. Keep in mind, this doesn't make the second.
And also, you need to remember that this game isn't subscription-based. You pay one time and that's it. Like, having a cash up in such a game, in my opinion, is okay. Depends on what the cash up contains. Now, Guild Wars 2 cash up, as far as I've seen, didn't have anything too out of the ordinary. But again, I'm not that familiar with the game, so you guys can tell me more on that. For me, like, I can only speak, for myself. It doesn't really bother me. But I'm usually against cash ups, like in every single game. But since Guild Wars 2 isn't subscription based, you just play the game, you just buy it once and that's it. You play it forever. This is okay. This is okay with me.
Acceptable in my opinion, but it could be much worse. The biggest thing to complain about here is probably the utility and upgrade tabs. From what I can tell, the utility and upgrade tabs are all about creating a problem to sell a solution, with the old pay for convenience line attached to it. You know how it goes. Extra bag space, bank tabs, crafting shortcuts, that kind of stuff. Now all of that stuff
you can pay for crafting. Okay, that's kind of bad. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I expected, but then it takes a little bit of a darker turn. Extra character slots, waypoint unlocks, the fact that gold doesn't just a little bit of a darker turn. Extra character slots,
you can, oh my god, account jumpstart. You can actually pay for that? Okay, that's a bit disgusting. I gotta admit, like waypoint unlock, that's kind of wild.
Point unlocks, the fact that gold doesn't just convert to gems, but gems also convert to gold, that is pretty low. But again,
I knew about
admittedly,
that.
it's surprising it's not worse considering the developer and publisher of this game. But at least there's a solution to this as a first-time player. You see, I don't care about being the best, most well-kitted out Guild Wars 2 player. I don't care about high performance. I'm just here for an experience. So with this one magic spell, we can get rid of all these problems. Now let's get back to our adventure.
Doesn't matter.
So after dicking about out in the Mad Max Thunderdome for a while, things at this point become just a little bit formulaic. We do our quests, we level up, we get thrown into some story-based instance stuff. We're just kind of muddling around and... What the hell is that? Hold on one sec. Oh, so it's like a point of interest discovery map thingy. Anyway, as I was saying, we're kind of What the hell is that? 1 second, I'm not missing this. Whew. Well, that was fun. Now, what was I saying? At this point, I can't even remember. And that seems to be the thing with Guild Wars 2. There's a ton of content.
That is so fact. It's crazy. You're so distracted by something that just randomly happens next to you. It's incredible. I mean, this is just goes to show how good the game is and like keeping you constantly hooked, right? And it doesn't do it in a forcible way. It doesn't force itself on you. It doesn't tell you like, oh, you need to do this daily thing or it's gone forever. No, it's just fun. Something pops up, you look at it and oh, this looks pretty good, and you do it with other people always, and it is always fun. Like, that is just great.
World events, jumping puzzles with rewards, open-ended quests with a lot more to experience even at these lower levels. Getting sidetracked feels almost mandatory as you level up. Guild Wars 2 has somehow struck a good balance between the story-based quests and helping us explore the world through side quests and whatever else we want to do. And that's one of the hidden hallmarks of a great MMO. You're just not able to help yourself and you need to know what that thing you saw was in the distance, or the game giving you every opportunity to be involved in some dynamic world event. Now combine that with Guild Wars 2's fever dream-like graphics, and it's like being the world's worst ADHD patient on peyote. By the time I had regained my grip on my focus, I was level 20, looking for a dad I once lost in an orphanage-shaped daycare all those years ago. After finding him, I realized why he may have abandoned us. Look, I'm no expert in genetics, but we're a little bit on the light side for that to be our dad. But either way, he decides to accept us as his real son under the condition that we free him from prison and get revenge on his old gang for him. So that's exactly what we do. What's notable about this questline though is that the game gave us the option to keep him in prison. What's impressive here is that the MSQ is based all on the one backstory I chose way back in the character creator. Eventually though, we pay our father's bail, find the feral cats that he had been hanging out with and sterilize them away from life, resolve the story for now, and are back to adventuring out in the open world. Now I had come into this game without reading a single guide or watching a single video. The only thing I had done was make a post on Reddit, and that convinced me that interacting with people was a bad idea. But through witnessing my sheer unbridled stupidity, I had someone who's been playing this game since the birth of our current universe expose me to both the likely origin of the no-no flu that gets you shadow banned for mentioning it, and eventually the first dungeon I had been looking for. Now this has been a long trip,
I still need to do a dungeon.
Not an unenjoyable one. I wish I could have stuck to my original goal and been a salty little baby about this game. Maybe make a spicy thumbnail for this video, rake in those clickbaited rage views saying this game is terrible, but I can't do it. Guild Wars 2 is not without its problems, but it is still an incredible MMO. It took me by surprise how well loved this game is by its players and community at large. This entire MMORPG can be summarized in the words, they didn't have to, but they did. The devs didn't have to make mounts with accelerations instead of flat speeds, but they did. They didn't have to voice act out the main character storyline with what must have been a shit ton of lines for some voice actors, but they did. They didn't have to put in all this extra effort into making the combat system, world, story, quests, or scenery, and could have just gone with your stock standard MMO approach and ended up with a perfectly fine MMO, but they did. And
no, not really. I think what makes Guild Wars 2 so good is the fact that they're so different. I mean, from other MMOs, right? Because you already have all of these MMOs, and right now we're witnessing each and every MMO that came out in the recent years have crumbled. Like, nothing succeeded. Nothing stood the test of time. And recently we've seen it with New World. It's just completely garbage. It's dead. And I mean, by the point he's making the video, the game was still out and alive, but nowadays we know what happened. And this is really the thing. Guild Wars 2 is Guild Wars 2. You can never take it you can never take that for bad or worse, like for worse or, you know, good. I don't know, I kind of messed up the sentence there. Guild Wars 2 is still the same. And it's a very good thing that you guys have one game that you can always rely on. And that includes myself. You've welcomed me as a garbage WoW player that just made like 1 or 2 Guild Wars 2 videos, and you actually took me inside your world. And I appreciate you guys so much for that too, because I'm starting to discover a game that I really enjoy. Because back in the day when I first tried it, I couldn't appreciate it for what it was. I tried to force my mentality of playing World of Warcraft onto Guild Wars 2, and that didn't work. That's why I ended up quitting after 2 months of playing. But nowadays, that's not the case. I'm way more chill. I'm doing things my own way and at my own pace. And suddenly, the game looks 10 times better. And it is also 10 times more enjoyable.
That's what makes Guild Wars 2 feel so special. Now, this might be crazy to say. It almost feels like this game was made by people who not just like, but maybe even love the MMO genre. But maybe that's just early onset schizophrenia from being flashbanged by the Mesmer's abilities one too many times. If somehow, like me, you still haven't played Guild Wars 2 at this point and just want a bullet point list of the good versus the bad, then here it is. Starting with the bad. Guild Wars 2 throws a lot of complex systems at you, which can be overwhelming at times. There's a lot of complexity in this game, and it's easy to miss something important, like the fact that you can upgrade your gear, or that you have to equip your specialization to your character before you can gain its benefit. This feeling of being overwhelmed also carries over to the way things look, and sometimes there's a lot of visual clutter to deal with. Some abilities are blinding or distracting to the point that you're not quite sure if
personally, I didn't feel that. Maybe it's because I'm playing a Guardian or something, but I thought animations were fine.
you've missed something important or not. There's a pay-to-win shop, and no, on this channel we don't pussy out and use weasel words like pay for convenience. It's all the same thing. And
Pay for convenience is pay to win, I will always say that, but this is kind of a Western MMO thinking, because I know that Eastern MMO gamers don't see pay for convenience as pay to win. I do. Like, I think most Western MMORPG players will consider pay for convenience, pay to win.
at the end of the day, it's there to get you to spend more money. None of that really matters as you're leveling up your character, but that's something to keep in mind if you plan to stick with this game all the way to max level. And finally, there are some bugs, strange error messages, and issues with the game, but nothing so far that has been game-breaking or made me have an uninstall moment. Moving on to the good, and there's a lot of good, so I'm just going to stick to the main points. Guild Wars 2 base game is free to play, making it far more enjoyable knowing I could stop at any point in time and my anorexic bank account isn't going to get any thinner. There are no negative pressures here compelling me to play the game if I don't want to. This is also
and that's probably the major appeal of this game for me right now, because I had enough of all of the dailies and all of this trash and all of the pop-ups. Like, I truly had enough. And I'm glad Guild Wars 2 is just a game I can log in, do whatever the hell I want to do currently. I set a goal for the day, and that's it. Like, I love that. And I said this before, and I'll say this again. Whenever a game forces you to log in every single day to do some arbitrary task, it may seem like it's beneficial for you to do this short term, but for longevity, it is the worst decision that one can ever make. Because all of these games that implement these sort of systems are now dead. Like, WoW is dead. Nobody's playing WoW. The only reason WoW is still alive is because of Classic. Way more people are playing Classic because this is what used to be good. And nowadays, retail is trash. Nobody even talks about the game anymore. It's just the whales and that's it. Like, only addicts are still playing this game for some reason. Well, I guess they're addicts, but I don't know why, to be honest. But sure, one day they would realize their wrongdoings and they will stop as well. So I think for long term, what Guild Wars is doing is way better, because whenever a new expansion comes out, I believe that 80% of the people who are playing the game will purchase it, and more people will come into the game eventually. Now, again, I think the game isn't more popular simply because it's horizontal nature. I think most gamers are vertical Andes, and that's fine. I'm glad that Guild Wars 2 is the way that it is. That's what I was trying to say. That's basically pretty much it.
a very detailed game with a lot of love and time put into it, and that becomes very obvious the more you play it. Everything from the story to the world design itself feels on point. Nothing about this experience is mismatched. Combat is simple to learn but has a high skill ceiling depending on what character class you pick up. But more than that, the higher your level goes, the more the flow of combat feels impactful. Initially, I told you that at the lower levels it doesn't really matter what buttons you push, but as you level up, the world around you begins to become a threat, much like aging in real life. life. And if you're not paying attention to your health bar, you'll find yourself
We
squirming
ballin'.
around on the floor, trying to bandage yourself up before you get Bill Cosby'd. And even at low levels, I can tell that the lore of this game appears to be coherent, consistent,
drank the
and
potion.
integrated into the gameplay itself. This is the kind of MMO story that makes you care about what you're doing. You're not just running out into the wilderness, killing 10 bears to collect 10 bear asses at a drop rate of 10%. You're protecting a farmer's livelihood by killing the bandits that would have otherwise stole all of his cattle. You're negotiating a peace treaty between two.
And you get to experience all of this in sort of a real time too. And it's a very dynamic system where you have stuff happening. Like I'm currently playing as a human. So centaurs, the story is that centaurs are basically just harassing the humans constantly and with war with them. So the thing is, you can actually raid like a centaur, zone. And then they try to fight you, you can push back on them, or maybe you can stop a centaur raid. And all of this stuff are very dynamic and so cool because you actually feel like you're doing something, like you're contributing to the world. And I love that. And for some really special missions, you actually get a few nice items out of that too. Like you get some legendary stuff, maybe stuff from crafting, like not legendary, but really important stuff for legendaries and stuff. This is very cool. I love that a lot.
Races who've hated each other for centuries. Or you're protecting your people from the haunted burial ground that they decided to build their house on top of. All in all, I'd say that even now, in 2023, Guild Wars 2 is worth your time. The short answer here is that this isn't just a game trying to suck you into some mindless grindfest, but a fantasy world and a story to experience. I can tell you right now that even after I'm done with this first impression, whenever I've got a spare moment, I'm likely going to pick up this game again. But it looks like our Wrangler is finally back and ready to take us into the dungeon. So let's pop this Guild Wars 2 dungeon cherry and finish this first impression the right way. Alright, well, it's a little dark in here, but not too bad. Sarcophaguses. Looks like this one has a burial and undead theme to it. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised with how many ghosts we've been killing. Oh, look at that. We've even got an NPC to guide us through our first dungeon. How considerate. First, we deal with a little bit of combat with some more dangerous than regular mobs, but nothing we can't handle. We find a key and... Alright, here we go. Big door opening. This is the moment. This is when it gets interesting. What the hell?
God.
Okay, I'm sure that error message was just a one-time thing. We'll just walk back in there and...
Oh, come on. Actually experience the
Fuck this game.
breaking
How
mode.
dare they take me on this emotional roller coaster just to kick me out of the first dungeon multiple times. These bastards made me care about my character's story. They went and reminded me of why I love MMORPGs in the first place. They made me have fun, god damn it. Now as a viewer, you might not understand why I'm so mad, but I'm supposed to remain objective, soulless, and uncaring. And Guild Wars 2 just had to ruin that for me. I spit on you, Guild Wars 2. This game is terrible. IGN 0 out of 10. Don't play it. You know what? I'm logging out of this bullshit right now, and I'm never coming back. I am never touching this terrible, awful, unplayable mess ever again. What the hell is that?
Yep.
One eternity later.
What year is it?
Oh, God.
As always, big thank to all my subscribers, both old and new.
Yep.
And a special thank to those members of Big First Impression, who this time around...
Yeah, that seemed to be the end of the video. This was such a phenomenal video. I enjoyed this one a lot. Thank you so much for the dude who recommended this to me. It is actually fantastic. And yeah, I'm gonna leave a link in the description so you guys can give him a like and watch it for yourself. It's so damn good. Oh man, it kind of sucks that he stopped uploading. I would have checked more of his stuff. But yeah, I mean, he was absolutely right about everything he said. Like, this game is so good, and right now I'm so happy that I get to experience it all over again. I spend all of my day just completely running through the zones and doing all the stuff. And it's just fun for me, man. Like, it's fun for me. I am saving the story, though, until I cover some more ground. But, wow, it's incredible. I enjoyed this video a ton.